What's going on, you guys? SlimXTeamSymmetry here to finally bring you guys a deck profile you guys have been wanting to see from me for ages. I can't even tell you guys how long it's been since people have been asking me for a updated Gravekeeper deck profile. Before I get into the deck, I just want to tell you guys straight up that don't take this deck profile super seriously. I mean that because right now the deck is good. The deck is fun to play. The deck has a pretty decent spellbook matchup. It has an okay dragon matchup. Necro Valley is really good against dragons, but you also need to take into account that dragons are still the #1 represented deck. So being able to go 9 rounds with Gravekeepers, if you're going to play at least 7 to 8 dragons, is really hard. I got to be honest, especially game 1 where you're relying on Necro Valley. But you'd be surprised all the cool things you can do with this deck. But I wanted to build this deck especially for next format. Even though we don't know what the list will be, I feel a lot of these cards won't even be touched. They've kind of ignored Gravekeepers outside of limiting Royal Tribute to 1, so I'm hoping they leave that alone, if not bring it back to 2. So this is the deck I'm using right now. I have actually played a couple games with this. It's had a very good matchup against spellbooks. It's had a good matchup against just like lower tier decks, and I actually was able to beat dragons with it a couple times. So I hope you guys will enjoy it. And for all the Gravekeeper players out there, I'm sorry it took me so long to get this done. I've wanted to make it good. I wanted to make it consistent, and I wanted it to be something that I could be proud to profile. So this is what I came up with, you guys. Hope you guys like it. There's no real super innovation in the deck. There's a couple things that are a little different, but I feel that when it comes to Gravekeepers, keeping it as basic as possible is the best way to go. So I'm just going to get into it right now. So we'll start with monsters. We have the 3 Gravekeeper Spy. This card runs the whole deck. You guys already know this. Spy is one of the best cards in the game ever since it came out. It was set up for Monarch decks. It was set up for its own deck. Its ability to get Recruiter and or Descendant is amazing. Being able to get your combo pieces, because your main combo is Gravekeeper Spy with a Descendant and a Recruiter to pop stuff, to do like pop 2 cards, get a search off Recruiter and get into the game, and really just take away all your opponent's resources. The fact that with Necro Valley it's 2,500 is amazing. The card's just really good. Staple at 3, of course. We got the 3 Commandant. Self-explanatory. It just is there to get Necro Valley. You need Necro Valley. You need to get to Necro Valley as soon as possible. A lot of times you'll find yourself Descending, popping with Recruiter, and searching Commandant in order to get to Necro Valley, because you need that card in play. You need that card in play. It shuts down a lot of plays. It really hurts spellbooks a lot more than people think. It stops them from doing a lot of crazy cards. They can't do cards like, they can't do Spellbook of Life. They can't do Fate. They can't do a lot of cool things. So I feel that you just need to have your best chances at getting to Necro Valley. So that's why there's 3. Plus it's 2,100. It gets a 500 boost, 1,600. It gets a 2,100 boost when under Necro Valley. So that's a big beater that can come in handy, especially late game. Rest of the Gravekeepers got the 3 Descendant, staple. I would never run 2. There was never a time I think I ran 2. People have run 2 before. I feel you need 3 though. You need to get rid of cards. You really need to get rid of cards. And even though it can't tribute itself, you need to have access to it. You need to have the ability to get to this card as soon as possible, because this is like one of your main combo pieces. And the ability to have 3 is really good. Plus with Necro Valley, it's 2,000. Like 2,000 gets in there, you guys. 4 attacks, it's game over. So I feel this card is a staple at 3. I would never run less than 3. And I think you guys would agree with me that you just need to run this card at 3. Especially now with priority on, a lot of cards like floating around. You just want this card to resolve. Plus, it's never bad to have multiple ones on the field. Like, seriously, like 4,000 is better than 2,000 any day. The 3 Baldies, Gravekeeper Recruiter. This card's just amazing. When this card came out, this card completely changed the whole Gravekeeper deck. So this card is just staple at 3. You have to run it. You have to just use it. Having it with Descendant is great. Descendant, popping, searching another card is just really good. Usually you cycle through your Recruiters to get rid of problematic cards. You do that and you are pretty much ahead of the game. Back when Gravekeepers were the best deck ever, oh my god, like this card was just stupid. Like literally, flip Spy, get Descendant, summon Recruiter, priority, pop another card. They waste a bottomless. Okay, cool, pop another card, whatever. Like you just had a lot of cool things you could do. So this card's amazing. Staple at 3. And I run, for the last GK, I run only 1 Gravekeeper's Assailant. I don't run Guard. I run 1 Assailant. Originally, I saw this build. I saw a version of this build on Core TCG. My friend Robert Boyajian wrote an article on it. And he was running none of these, no Guards, no nothing. He was just running the straight Gravekeepers and then running 3 Tsukiyomi. And I liked it, but then I noticed I just really want to have this card. This card's really good. The fact that it's 2,000 is great, but its effect is amazing with Necro Valley. Switching a monster to defense is so huge. Like, you guys don't even know. Being able to get around problematic monsters, like even like getting around Abyss Lead, like I know like it's on the mat, looks like I have to talk about it. That sucker only has 1,000 defense. Like honestly, like you summon this, you can attack over it, and you get over problematic cards. Back in the day, this is how you auto killed Sheehan, so this card was just a staple. So I still run it. I would not run the deck without it. Guard, I could see myself possibly running in the future, but for now I don't run it. It really doesn't serve that many purposes. It can get popped with Drago Sack. Dragons don't care if they go back to the hand, so I tried to keep it as simple as possible with just running these 13 Gravekeepers. And then the last two monsters are Tsukiyomis. I originally was running 3. It got way too clumpy, just way too clumpy, so I cut it down to 2 so that I could run the 1 Assailant. This card is phenomenal in the deck. You guys need to understand this, like, straight up. Like, I know a lot of people are like, duh, Tsukiyomi, you know, it works with Gravekeepers, obviously. Being able to reflip Spy is amazing. Being able to flip Spy back is crazy. Being able to summon Tsukiyomi, flip Spy back, you know, get like just crazy combos off is crazy. You can put so much damage on the board with this card. Another thing is that back in the day, Book of Moon was at 3. These are your 2 replacement Book of Moons that you didn't have before. So this card is just, I feel, just a great card in the deck. It does a lot of cool things too. Gravekeepers have the problem of being weak, even with Necro Valley. They're not that strong. The strongest one is 2100, and honestly, you're not really summoning Commanded as much as you'd think. So Tsukiyomi takes care of that problem. It gets rid of, it flips over problematic monsters so you can run them over. It makes it so if you flip over a Drago Sack, you can get rid of it in other ways. So there's a lot of cool things you can do with this. I feel this is definitely a staple in the deck now, though it wasn't before, but I feel now it's definitely necessary that this card is ran, and I think 2 is the perfect number. I think 3 is just too many. You can allure it away, but honestly, I would rather just have this card when I need it and then bounce it back, and you know, it does set up a lot of cool plays, so I really do like this card. Getting rid of problematic monsters is huge this format, so Tsukiyomi is a great card. So that's it for the monsters. It's, I believe, 15 monsters. On to the spells. 3 staple Necro Valley. I don't even need to talk about this card. You need to run this card at 3. Never run it at 2. Run it at 3. You have 3 commanded, so you can search all 3 valleys. You draw them, whatever. You have a 2100 beater. You need this card. This card really hurts dragons a lot. It hurts a lot more cards than people think. It hurts small cards that call it a haunted. It hurts a lot of crazy things. It hurts Inzectors. It hurts so many decks. A lot of people just don't see the versatility that this card has. This is a card I was even considering side decking in one of my side decks before, but I never got around to it. But this card locks down so many cards that you really need this card. Being able to prevent removal is huge, so having 3 is the best, in my opinion. Run 3-pot of Duality. Duality's back at 3. When Gravekeepers were number 1, they ran 3 of these. When the card first came out, you have to run 3 again. It helps with your consistency. You're not always special summoning, and even if you pot a Duality into a Spy, set the Spy, set some back row, you're good to go. So Duality is just a staple in the deck. I'm running 3 Typhoon. This is something new. I don't think I ever really ran Typhoon back when I ran Gravekeepers. The format was different, but now with all the impending back row, all the cards that can go off, cards like Abysphere, cards like Dragon's Ravine, just a lot of problematic cards can get in the way, you need to run Mystical Space Typhoon. Plus the fact that Decree is a problem for this deck since you do run a lot of traps. I feel you just need to have access to Typhoon, and it's really good because Descendant will pop back row, but a lot of times you need to get over problematic monsters, so if you Typhoon the back row and then you pop the monsters, you get everything done in one hit. So I feel 3 is just necessary in the deck right now. I'm running the 2 Stel. This card's great. This card is the stupidest top deck ever. You can top deck this and get right back in the game, being able to grab back a Spy and a Recruiter or just any 2 Gravekeepers. Self-explanatory, you need to run it at 3. I mean, you need to run it at 2. I would never run it at 1. You just need it. You really need it to get to your Gravekeepers as soon as possible once you've used them. On to the 1-ofs. I do still run the 1 Royal Tribute. I figure, why the hell not? This card's amazing. Like, why would you not run it? Granted, it may not be the best thing, but if you have Royal Tribute Necro Valley against dragons, like, what are they honestly going to do? If you take away their monsters, and if they have an all-monster hand and you have Necro Valley on the field, you should be able to put in enough damage to win the game before they can get back in the game, unless they top deck Typhoon or something stupid like that. So, Royal Tribute's just really good. I would still run it at 1, even though at times it can be a little inconsistent, but worst case scenario, summon Tsukiyomi, flip a monster over, and then Royal Tribute before Tsukiyomi goes back to hand so you don't lose anything. So it's still a really good card. Plus, if you don't like it, you can always side it out. 1 Allure. You run a lot of darks. I usually like to allure away Tsukiyomi if need be. You need it just for consistency. Sometimes you can just bluff set it or not even use it, but I like it in there to get into my cards and into my combos faster. And then the 1 Dark Hole and the 1 Book of Moon. Book of Moon is self-explanatory. It's amazing. When it was at 3, Gravekeepers were supreme. So that's it for the spells. And then on the traps, I have very basic traps. 2 Mirror Force, punish bad players. They want to overextend. They want to push into your monsters. Mirror Force them, win the game. Flip Spy, get a couple monsters going, Tsukiyomi, and do some other crazy combos, and you win. So Mirror Force is just really good. 2 Fiendish Chain. You need the 2 chains because problematic monsters. I don't like running Veiler in this deck at all. I don't like main decking it one bit. I feel that Fiendish Chain is just better. It's more reactive. Being able to Fiendish Chain cards like Blue Boy and just like problematic cards that can really get decks rolling is really good. Plus, with Gravekeepers, once you Fiendish Chain them and their effects are locked off, you can really just utilize your effects and pop other cards while the monsters pretty much null and void for the time. So, card's just really good in the deck. 2 Vanity's Emptiness. So, this is the thing that I saw like a lot of Gravekeeper players are doing. You need to run this. You need it because you're not always going to flip Spy. You're not always going to special summon. You need another out to dragons. If you have this in Necro Valley, you pretty much have them locked. So I feel this card's just really good. This is a card I would definitely main deck. I'm not main decking Iron Wall in this deck. I feel that you need to side deck Iron Wall. It would just, you could run into too many rogue matches where it could be useless, unless you're running a deck like Evilsworn, but Vanity's Emptiness is just really good, it's really versatile, and it really helps this deck keep up in tempo against dragons. Being able to Vanity lock them and Necro Valley lock them is just really good. So I feel that it's just a mandatory for the deck. And then just all the good one-ofs, one Torrential, this in Recruiter is stupid, one Bottomless, one Compulse, and the one Solemn Warning. So that's it for the main deck, you guys. Like I told you guys, very basic. I didn't want to make the deck super complicated. I thought that if I did try to make it complicated, I could lose people when I tried to explain my reasons, and I felt that having it as basic as possible would be the best thing for the deck. So it's 40 cards. I would not run more than 40. I think it's really good at 40. I'll just get into the extra deck. Kind of ignore the extra deck, you guys. I don't have all the cards I want to have. These are just some of the cards I saw that you could run. You do have the options to run these guys for the fact that you do run dark monsters. All your monsters are dark, so you can get some versatility out of these. Nightmare and Thanatos. It's rare you'll make them, but they're there just because, you know, you have space. Utopia, same thing. You're probably not going to make Utopia as much. You can make Gemini Pearl and just have a better card. So Utopia is in there. I mean, you can run Utopia Ray if you want. This card is actually worth talking about. This card can work really well with Spy, being able to flip it up, flip it down. So I like this card. Zenmeister's not that bad. I actually like it a lot. Plus, it's 2,500 when it comes out, so it's pretty big. So it does a lot for the deck. The main ones, though, that are worth talking about, you need to run Direwolf. Problematic cards get in the way. Corn Ship can steal games, get rid of problematic monsters like Zenmains. Key Beetle. Now, Key Beetle is broken in this deck. Key Beetle is so easy to make in this deck. Literally, it's a no-brainer. Flip Spy, get another Spy. Flip Spy, get another card. Whatever you have left in the deck, make a Key Beetle. Key Beetle lock the Emptiness. Key Beetle lock the Necro Valley. Whatever you need to do to win the game. Key Beetle is just amazing in the deck. I would actually run 2. So, you look at this deck profile, I'd run 2 Key Beetle for sure. Key Beetle lock's really important in this deck. Maestro, staple, Dweller for water, Cowboy, steals games, Gemini Pearl, and of course the best card ever. Honestly, like, those are like the main like extra deck cards. I mean, if there's other cards, I guess like you could run Vylon to Sigma, you could run other cards that require rank 4s. I mean, there is that. I guess the last thing I want to talk about is just like some of my main choices that are probably a little different from Gravekeepers unless it's changed. These are basically the only 3 cards I want to talk about. I'll start with Typhoon because it's the least relevant. So Typhoon is only in there, like I've said, because you need to get rid of problematic cards. Getting rid of problematic card makes it so that you just have an easier game and your Descendant can pop monsters, especially face-down monsters. You never know what you're running into, and if you blindly run into a monster, that could be a problem. It could be lights out, so I like having Typhoon for the back row. These 2 cards, though, are worth talking about for the fact that they probably have never made it into Gravekeepers before. For the fact Tsukiyomi was gone for the longest time. Like, we had formats where Tsukiyomi was just gone, but now that it's back and it's at 3, I think it's just really good for the deck. It's another pseudo Book of Moon, which is really great. The deck needed it. It helps Spy. It helps a lot of problems. It really does solve problems. The fact that Spy can get you going, get your combo rolling, and you can basically summon this, flip Spy, get another, get a Descendant or Recruiter, whatever's missing from your combo, and just start going off with that. It helps you make your Key Beetle lock easier. It just does a lot of things that I feel the deck needed, and it can shut down problematic monsters so you can get your combos off, so I really do like this card a lot. I think it's a staple in the deck now. Minimal of 2. I would not run... Minimal of 1, actually. I would not run 3. Just don't run 3. It can get really clumpy. You won't like it. Trust me. Like, I tried it. I was done after 2 games with 3 of it, so 2 of it is fine. And Emptiness is just self-explanatory. The deck does not special summon as much as you would think. You only need to resolve Spy once or twice in order to really get the versatility out of it. It's a good wall at 2,500 in defense, so you can always get your monsters back with Stellae. So I feel that Vanity's Emptiness is really important in the deck, and it adds things that the deck didn't have before. But yeah, you guys, that's it. No mystery anymore. Like, the deck is nothing like crazy, like out of the ordinary. I just feel that people need to understand that Gravekeepers are still a good deck. This may not be the format for them, but there'll definitely be a time where the deck is really good. And I want it to be a format where the deck is really good so people will play it. But this is just my first build of the deck. This is the first version. It'll definitely change, I'm sure, as time goes on. But this is just something I want you guys to enjoy, and I hope you guys did enjoy it. I know you guys have been wanting to see this for a while. So, let me know what you guys think. Comment below. Do you like the deck? Do you not like the deck? Do you think I missed something when I built it? I tried to keep it as basic as possible. I just wanted to make it easy for Gravekeeper players. Just to understand where I'm coming from, you'll understand the basics behind the deck, that having the deck as basic as possible is just really good. So yeah, so that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about. Just showing you guys the deck one last time, just so you guys will see how I built it. And just let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to PM me on YouTube or Facebook. I'll definitely get back to you. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thumbs it up. Team GK is all the way. We're going to make a comeback. Maybe not this format, but definitely in the upcoming format. So that's all I got to say. Thumbs it up, and thank you for watching.